It's Christmas time in the city. As someone who has had the pleasure of experiencing many a holiday season in New York, I wanted to put together my ultimate NYC Christmas guide in case any of you are planning a visit. We'll talk through some of the big hits and attractions that are probably already on your list, but with a couple of insider tips for what to do when you visit. Plus, I'll share a few more under the radar spots and things to do from ice skating to trying every hot chocolate that the city has to offer. Are you ready for the most wonderful time of the year in the greatest city in the world? Whether you're planning a visit soon or manifesting a future trip, this episode has you covered. Before we get into all things Christmas, this episode is actually coming out on Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's celebrating today. By the time you're listening to this, I hopefully have already watched Andrew run the Manchester Road Race, which is essentially a bit of a bigger deal than a turkey trot. I forget exactly how many more miles they run. It's hard to keep up with this man and all of his many races. And I may already be in the car on my way to my sister in law's for a little Thanksgiving dinner in Rhode Island. So I hope you're all having a cozy day. And I just wanted to say that I'm very grateful for all of you. Let's start this episode, as we do all episodes, with a little create and consume check in. So, as far as what I've been creating this past week, I started a new series over on Instagram and TikTok called Date Night Passport. This series started as just an idea that Andrew and I had for a little fun twist on date night, which was, we live right next to New York City. We also have great restaurants here in Hudson County. What if we treat date night like we're traveling to different countries without ever really leaving, the same couple square mile bubble? And we decided to basically pick different cuisines to try each week. And I've also been filming and documenting a bit of it over on short form. So far, at the time I'm filming this, we have done two of these already. I'll link the most recent one in the show notes if you'd like to check it out. The latest one that we did at the time I'm filming was when we tried Vietnamese food. I'm excited to keep this going, see what other cuisines we try, and obviously also support local restaurants and businesses in my area. That's one of my favorite things to do. And for what I've been consuming, I feel like I'm a little late to this party because the show has been out already for a while, and I'm not sure exactly what compelled Andrew and I to start it right now, but we started watching The Pit on HBO. My God, this show is so intense. I've heard that people who work in the medical field actually can't really watch this show because it hits too close to home in a sense. And you want to talk about gratitude today? I mean, I am always so grateful for doctors, nurses, all healthcare professionals who have chosen to do this with their life to keep us healthy. We will never be able to thank them all enough. And I think this show demonstrates what a thankless job it truly is and how intense it is. And this show is so fast paced and quick moving that the episodes are I think 42 minutes long, just about an hour show. Obviously, no commercials because it's HBO. But the way that an episode ends, and I feel like I blinked and I'm like, that was an hour already. So much happened that you don't even realize the time is passing. It's kind of crazy. And the whole show is just one shift, which I keep forgetting. It's if you told me it was week to week, that would be one thing. But the fact that everything is happening hour by hour of one, I guess, 12-hour shift at the ER, it's crazy. If you have not watched this show, I will say, warning for anyone who's scared of gory things like me, I do have to watch through my hands at times when there's icky medical stuff going on. But it is really, really good. And as always, be sure to tell me what you guys are creating and consuming as well. All of the ways to get in touch are in the show notes, and I love hearing from you, especially if we're creating or consuming any of the same things. Let's get into our Christmas in New York guide. And there really is just something so magical about Christmas in New York. I can't explain exactly what it is. And even though it starts to get a little cold out and some people are stressed this time of year, there are just certain things that never get old for me that still kind of tap into that childlike sense of wonder, that childlike feeling of Christmas morning and that excitement that for some reason, all of these New York City attractions and things to do really just bring to the forefront for me personally. And I think a lot of people feel that way. I think that's why it's such a popular destination this time of year. And I really wanted to put together this guide to help any of you, whether you actually live here already and you just want to make the most of this season, or whether you are coming in the next couple of weeks to the city, or maybe save this episode and come back to it if you want to plan a trip for next year or a few years from now. And I hope that this is really helpful and informative. So, to start out, obviously, one of the things that New York is known for is doing things big, right? We do it up here for sure. So, the top Christmas trees to see in the city had to be the start of this list because they're massive. They are not subtle at all, and they really are fun to go see in person. The most iconic Christmas tree in New York is, of course, the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. Now, the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree is actually already in place. It is currently being decorated at the time this episode is coming out. It's always good to check ahead and see which day the tree lighting is for the Rock Center tree. This year, for 2025, the tree lighting is going to be on Wednesday, December 3rd. Now, if you were planning to actually attend the tree lighting, I don't mean to discourage you from doing so. However, it is basically like a mini New Year's Eve situation. And I know this because I used to work at the Free People in Rockefeller Center. I have a whole episode about working in retail that I can link in the show notes. And we used to have to close the store early. Like, we would close the store at 3 p.m., I want to say that day, just so we could get out safely, because that's how big of a crowd forms for the tree lighting. That's how packed it is. And if you were thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to go stand out there and maybe I can pop into like a store or something to use the bathroom. No, literally all the stores like close early that day, specifically because of how crazy it gets in that area. So the same advice that I would give to someone who's like, wouldn't it be fun one year to do New Year's Eve in New York City? I'm going to give to you for the tree lighting, which is if you know someone who works in an office building surrounding the tree lighting area and you can see it from above and you don't actually have to be down in the chaos and you have access to a bathroom and you could bring some snacks with you, by all means, maybe go to the tree lighting. However, if you are just planning to show up and stand outside, it's a long night. It is a long buildup to the actual tree lighting itself. It's probably going to be so crowded. It could easily be freezing that day. It just doesn't seem like that much fun. And one of the best times, though, to actually go see the tree after it's been lit is in those first few days right after it, because it's not too close to Christmas. It hasn't gotten too packed there yet. Like many things in New York this time of year, the Rockefeller Christmas tree does get very crowded, especially the closer it gets to Christmas. So if you are planning to come and you can come a few weeks early, that's a great time to go. Also, if you can go early in the morning, like even before work hours have started, honestly, ideally like between 7 and 9 a.m., that is going to be your best chance to see the tree without big crowds. And because I'm a content creator, I have to give you a little photo tip as well for the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. Some of the best photos you'll take with the tree are not actually right up next to the tree. If you go back an avenue or a block and can get the tree in the distance, honestly, those are some of the better photos. And then you're not going to have as many random people directly behind you in those shots. It'll be more like New York City Christmas atmosphere. If you're watching on YouTube, I will put one or two examples on the screen of photos that I've taken with the tree before that are not me standing like right underneath the tree. I actually feel like those photos you don't get to see the tree in all its glory. So honestly, just like wherever you are, walk back an avenue and shoot from that street side. Now, the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, no doubt, sight to be seen. My personal favorite Christmas tree is at the Palace Hotel. And one year during Vlogmas, back when I actually was able to do Vlogmas and like upload every single day, that was a crazy time. I think back in 2018, I'll link the video in the show notes where I actually finally made it to the Christmas tree. One year, the Palace Hotel was like hosting so many different events. So every time I went to the tree, the gates were actually closed. But the Palace tree is always my favorite tree. It is also beautiful. It is just a few blocks from the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree as well. So you can kind of see like both in one swoop, which is exciting. And obviously, if you're a fan of Gossip Girl, major Gossip Girl vibes, you can actually go to the palace where they shot a bunch of scenes from season 1. The Rockefeller Center Christmas tree is amazing because of its scale, but the Palace tree is amazing because of the decorations. And every year it just looks so cute. And they also put wreaths on the gate surrounding the courtyard of the hotel. Trust me, that is absolutely worth adding to your list. And then another popular Christmas tree is the Bryant Park Winter Village Christmas tree. They also have a tree lighting ceremony for that. Winter Village, again, is one of those things that is going to get more and more packed in the afternoons and evenings and in the days, especially leading up to Christmas. So if you're visiting and you can go right when the booths open, which I feel like is 10 a.m. for most of them, maybe noon for a couple of them, that's going to be your best chance for shortest lines and being able to walk around. And if you're someone who doesn't mind the crowds though and doesn't mind just like the atmosphere of standing around and waiting and stuff, you can go at any time. I just want to give you some insider insight from what I've experienced before, which is that typically when I go like in the late afternoon or evening, that's when it tends to be the most crowded. And Bryant Park Winter Village is super fun. They have shopping, they have lots of different foods to try. There's an ice rink there. And if you are willing to do a bit of walking, you could probably see the Rock Center tree, the Palace tree, and the Bryant Park tree all in one morning walk around Midtown. Now, moving downtown, making our way downtown. Washington Square Park does a Christmas tree every year as well. I believe the tree is lit between the hours of 4 p.m. and 1 a.m. daily. And that one is cool because they put it up underneath the arch of Washington Square Park. So that's a really beautiful atmospheric one to see that's right next to a big New York City landmark. And maybe a little lesser known, but also worth mentioning, they do a Christmas tree right in front of the New York Stock Exchange in the financial district. And my mom and I actually did a city day around the holidays last year where we decided to go to the financial district, Seaport area, and basically do like a downtown day because my mom is from New Jersey, as am I. We, have seen the Rock Center tree and stuff over the years and everything. And we wanted to experience Christmas in the city, but not necessarily the chaos of Midtown. So we did that last year. We took a cute little photo of us in front of that tree. And it's definitely not as big as, some of the other ones, but the fact that it's right there, like on Wall Street in front of the New York Stock Exchange, that is pretty cool as well. Let's move on to some festive lighting displays and fun areas to walk through during this time of year. Okay, maybe you've heard of the Diker Heights Christmas lights. I actually have only done this once, mostly because getting to Diker Heights is a little bit of a challenge. It was even a challenge when I lived in Brooklyn. Like, you'd think it would be easier to get around through Brooklyn, but I feel like it took over an hour on the subway, even from my part of Williamsburg to the Diker Heights neighborhood to get there. Anyway, this neighborhood is known for going all out this time of year. Now, if you Google Diker Heights Christmas lights, you'll see that there are some guided tours of the area. I personally, like when we went, my roommate and I, all those years ago, we just walked around by ourselves. Like we grabbed a cup of hot chocolate from somewhere and then we just wandered through the streets ourselves. I personally think that that is the way to do it, and you don't actually need a guided tour. The area that you'll want to aim for is really from 11th to 13th Avenues, also known as Diker Heights Boulevard, from 83rd to 86th Streets. Like if you just head to that area and walk around, you will see some amazing light displays. And according to my research, which was a single Google search, usually beginning the third Thursday of November, the lights can be seen every night from dusk until about 9 or 10 p.m. So as far as planning, by the time you're listening to this episode, you should be good to go. And getting there right around sunset, which unfortunately these days is like 4:30 p.m., should probably be a good start. You can go grab a cup of hot chocolate and then enjoy the light displays. I would just say don't plan on getting there any later than like 9 or 9:30 because then some people might be turning off their lights at that time out of respect for, their neighbors and the fact that people actually live there and need to sleep. I also love in Midtown walking through 6th Avenue. They put up lights around like 49th and 50th Streets, and they also put up a basically electronic tree display in front of Radio City Music Hall. It's really pretty. Even just bopping around the streets over there is really fun. And then on the other side on 5th Avenue, which you'd think like crossing from 6th Avenue to 5th Avenue wouldn't be that much of a challenge. During the holidays, it is. It gets very, very crowded. So again, leave some time when you're visiting to, even just like walk one avenue over. I know that sounds ridiculous right now, but once you see the volume of people involved in this whole holiday in New York situation, you'll see why I'm saying that. If you can make your way over to the Fifth Avenue side, Saks does a light show every year. Actually, I think last year they like temporarily got rid of it because of financial concerns, which was very sad. But as far as I can tell, it is back for 2025. And if you're anywhere near the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, if you head towards the Fifth Avenue side of that, you will be able to see the light display. It is supposed to run every few minutes, I believe up until 11 p.m. And that's always a fun one to check out. Also, I think my favorite store on Fifth Avenue to see what they do for Christmas every year is the Cartier store. I have taken many a photo, I feel like, in front of this store in the past. And I'm also curious to see what Louis Vuitton does this year. They have the big like suitcase building, I don't even know what to call it, on 57th or whatever that is on Fifth Avenue. Walking through all of those holiday window displays is honestly magical. Also, if you need a book recommendation about holiday window displays, Tessa Bailey has a spicy romance novel called Window Shopping that the protagonist of that book is actually someone who creates holiday window displays. So there's a little bit of that tie in there. If you're not in a spicy romance mood, though, probably not the book for you. Okay, let's move on and discuss holiday markets. If you go to any of these, like in the afternoon or evenings, especially like as you get closer to Christmas, just expect crowds and just know that that's going to be the situation and you can still absolutely go and have a great time. Bryant Park Winter Village is probably one of the most popular ones. They have so many different stalls. They have lots of small businesses that pop up there. It's a great chance to get to try a lot of New York City like hotspots and cuisines that are all in one place. That's one of my favorite things as a local. It's not so much like, oh, I've never done this before. It's like, oh, I don't have to go all the way to Brooklyn to get this one particular meal that I've been craving. So I love that you get to try a lot of stuff just all in one place. Also, ice skating is always a fun thing to do. Are they going to overcharge you for it? Yes. Is it going to be a little crowded? Yes. But you get to say you went ice skating at Bryant Park, like underneath the big Christmas tree in December in New York City. Still feels magical to me. And then Urban Space actually sponsors two holiday markets in the city. So one is at Union Square. I love this one. I love like going gift shopping here. And another one is up at Columbus Circle. I think I've only been to the Columbus Circle one once. I remember getting a hot apple cider from there that was really good, but I didn't necessarily do as much browsing around. If you go to the Columbus Circle one and you get like really cold and you need a contingency plan, the shops at Columbus Circle are right there as well. There's like a Zara and a Sephora and stuff inside. So that's not a bad one if you're not sure what the weather is going to be, if you want to have a backup plan and you still want to like pop into some shops. And then I think this is the first year that the Grand Central Holiday Fair is happening, which is going to be a couple of booths popping up inside Grand Central Station. So that might be worth checking out too. I might have to pop over there myself and see what the deal is. Okay, I also wanted to write down best places to get hot chocolate in New York City during the holiday season. Now, a lot of the holiday markets that I just listed will have hot chocolate. My favorite hot chocolate at Bryant Park, I'm not even sure what the name of it is, but it's, if you're facing the tree, it's to the right of the tree, kind of in front of the Bryant Park grill, and the cups are red and white striped, and literally like that's the hot chocolate I get. I have no idea what the name of it is, but it'll probably be hard to go wrong at any of these places. Now, some other spots that I wrote down are Angelina Paris. I've heard such good things about this place in Midtown. Hungarian Pastry Shop in Morningside Heights, my old stopping grounds, just a couple blocks away from where I used to live when I was in college at Barnard. I've heard Bar Pisolino makes a great hot chocolate. I have only ever been there for cocktails myself. They make a great dirty martini, if you were wondering. And it's such a cute spot in the West Village for people watching. Again, always gets crowded. I'm pretty sure they're walk-in only, but if you can go earlier in the day for hot chocolate before they start serving cocktails and then it gets really crowded, that might be a tip if possible. Okay, I kind of can't not mention Max Brenner's. This is such a specific moment in time to me. I feel like between the years of like 2009 and 2014, I thought Max Brenner's was one of the coolest places in the city. It's basically a restaurant that serves all chocolate inspired foods and dishes. I used to go there and get the chocolate pizza. Yeah, now that I'm saying it out loud and now that I'm thinking about it and remembering it, kind of a disgusting meal in retrospect, but they made basically like a sweet bread crust and then like put chocolate sauce on it, but it was chocolate pizza. What 13 or 14-year-old that you know would not want to order chocolate pizza at a restaurant? I mean, come on. And I would get a hot chocolate there, and I don't know if they still do this or not, but they used to bring it to you in this thing called the hug mug, where you would literally like hold the mug in your hands and cradle it like a small baby bird, and you would like lift it up to your mouth and sip it. I'm demonstrating if you're watching on YouTube, but oh my god, they make a great hot chocolate. I will give them that. And then gloss. I know I looked it up. It's pronounced gloss, but it's spelled glace, Glace. They do the hot chocolate that I think has gone TikTok viral, where they have the toasted marshmallow like around the edge, then they put whipped cream and they like stick an Oreo in there. And that's going to be like $10, just so you know. Sticker shock in New York, especially during the holiday season, is real. So just I'm warning you, that particular hot chocolate is definitely at least $10. If you guys have any other hot chocolate spots to add to that list, though, feel free to leave a comment if you are listening on Spotify, or leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube, or send me a DM and maybe I can like add it to the blog post later. I am always on the lookout for good hot chocolate recommendations in the city. Okay, moving on to notable restaurants and bars who go all out with their holiday decor. And the first one that I must mention on this list is, of course, Rolf's. If you've never heard of Rolf's, it is a German restaurant. It's in the Gramercy neighborhood of the city, which is like low 20s on the east side, and they have year-round Christmas decor up. So actually my best tip for Rolf's, and to like go there and enjoy the Christmas decor and take pictures and everything, is to go there literally any month that isn't November or December, because that's when it's definitely going to be the most crowded. If you can remember to go to Rolf's in like September and then share the content, if you're, well, I'm always thinking with the content creator brain. If it were me, I would have made a reservation at Rolf's in September so that I could like share the content right now. But I didn't do that. I didn't plan ahead because my September involved me moving into this home that we are now in. So honestly, that is probably one way to do it. The other way to do it is to get there right when it opens, wait online, and just like do a drink at the bar. And once again, the drink prices, especially for kind of novelty restaurant like this, especially this time of year, probably will be a little bit of sticker shock. I mean, I went to Rolf's once with Caitlin when she was visiting in either 2018 or 2019, and I ordered a beer, you guys. I didn't even order like a fancy cocktail or anything. All I wanted was a beer and to like be inside the restaurant. I'm pretty sure it was like $16 or $17 for the beer, so keep that in mind. I think you can also make reservations for Rolf's, but you actually have to like do a sit down situation and order food there, so keep that in mind if you are planning on booking. And of course, if you can make reservations at any of these places, that is recommended. I just know that some of them are walk-in only and you're not able to do that. So just think about being flexible. Okay, another one that goes all out with their Christmas decor is Lily's Victorian and Union Square. So actually one year for my company holiday party, which is usually just one day in December that I choose to like take the afternoon and kind of treat myself, celebrate my work for the year. I used to really love the Christmas party that Nylon did, and I have gotten to go to a few other friends' office work parties, and sure, they can be a little cheesy or awkward sometimes, but I do think it's nice to think about what you accomplished at the end of the year and celebrate. And since I'm self employed, I took it upon myself to give myself a little company holiday party of one day. And I ended up doing the Union Square holiday market. So I walked around, I sampled some food, I got to try the pierogies from Veselka. That's another thing. It's like, oh, I got to go to right here in Union Square. Didn't have to go all the way to the East Village to get these. I mean, Union Square is actually walkable to the East Village, but you know what I mean. And so I did a little Union Square day. I think I got a facial earlier in the day that I'd been invited in for. So I kind of like stacked this all on one day. And then I walked over to Lily's Victorian when it opened, and I just got myself a cute little drink at the bar, just as a little toast to all my hard work from the year. And if anyone else out there is self employed or a solopreneur or anything like that, I really encourage you to take even like one afternoon or a couple of hours on some day before the end of the year to do something, your own version of that, and, celebrate all of your hard work, because you are your biggest cheerleader. And it's really important to take stock of that and celebrate your accomplishments. So that is a fun little like route to do in an afternoon if you're visiting the city. Okay, Boucherie West Village. They do beautiful Christmas decorations. I think the Grand Boucherie, which is in Midtown, I've never been there. I think they do it as well. But honestly, my mom and I went to the West Village one on our little city day from last year, and it was so cute. And then another holiday bar is Jingle Jangle at the Dead Rabbit. This one's in Fide. It's one of the oldest bars in the city. Guys, I've never successfully gotten in here. I've literally tried to go so many times. Maybe I just need to go like in November. Maybe I should try to go today, literally. Like, I'm going to have a little window of time in the city this afternoon. Maybe I should try to go today, even though it's just a Tuesday, and see if I can get in there. Blitzen's Bar is a pop up at the Omni Berkshire. Hopefully, I'm saying that right, in Midtown East. Actually, it's so funny. It's right over where Andrew used to live before we moved in together, like all the way on the east side. But that is one that maybe, since that's a little bit more like out of the way, wouldn't be as crowded. This one sounded cute. Grinchies at Roberta's, which is this incredible pizza restaurant in Bushwick. When I lived in Brooklyn, Roberta's was like one of the top pizzas in my rotation for sure. They do such a good job there. Oh, this one's cute. The restaurant Sunday in Brooklyn in South Williamsburg is converting into Snow Day in Brooklyn. So they're going to have a little holiday pop up as well. Miracle on 9th Street is one that has been done for a few years now. This one's in the East Village. I haven't been yet, but that one looks so cute. And if you're just looking for a cute, cozy bar with decorations that's not going to be like overly kitschy or gimmicky, Lorley Beer Garden does very cute holiday decorations, and it's so cozy in there. That is a beer garden on the Lower East Side. Honestly, I didn't put like Frosties on this list, or I heard there's going to be like a Mariah Carey bar. I think those are just a little bit more like kitschy, and I think that they're going to get super, super crowded. A lot of these, I feel like, are still tied into Christmas in New York and that like warm, cozy, more wholesome feeling versus just like, I don't know, drunk Santas dancing around you. SantaCon used to be like one of the most exciting days of the year in the city, like when I first graduated college and was moving here. And now I literally like look up what date SantaCon is to avoid going outside entirely because it's literally terrifying. And I have to avoid SantaCon twice, okay? Because they do SantaCon in New York City, and Hoboken also has its own SantaCon, and they do them on 2 different days so people can go out twice. So there's 2 weekends that I need to beware this time of year. And also, if you're visiting, double check what dates SantaCon is just so that you can avoid. Where would you even need to avoid for SantaCon? Midtown East, probably. Union Square, and most of the East Village, I would say. And then also beware if you're like in Port Authority or Grand Central, if you see, some drunk Santas from like New Jersey or Long Island or Westchester who are trying to get home. It's a chaotic day, so you've been warned. And on a similar note to chic restaurant decor and going places where the vibes are right, I also wrote down some cool hotels with cafes and bars that I think are worth checking out during the holidays. That again, maybe they don't have like fake snow and like Santa coming out of a chimney at them, but the decor is really beautiful. The vibes are really nice. And I believe for most of these, you would be able to make reservations. These are my recommendations. My recommendation is to make a reservation. Sorry, I don't know what happened to my brain just then. So you should be able to make reservations at any of these. And I have been to only one of these on the list. So I guess all of these are on my list for places I would love to go for either like an afternoon coffee at one of their cafes or a late night drink out and about when I'm in the city this time of year. Okay, number 1, the Beekman Hotel I wrote Fide, but it's like a little bit like up and over. It's by City Hall, I'm pretty sure. That place looks so pretty. And then Phuket in Tribeca. This is a newer hotel that's opened up. I actually got invited to an event there and I couldn't go. And I was so sad because I really wanted to like see inside this hotel. But it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm sure any of the restaurants or cafes would be just as much fun as if you were actually staying there. Okay, the one that I have done on this list is the Plaza. Their lobby, actually, they already posted on their Instagram. I can link it in the show notes. They already posted their decor for this season, and it looks so beautiful inside there. I would strongly recommend, like, if you are visiting New York this time of year, to actually book tea at the Plaza. I did this with my parents a few years ago. I actually did film it for Vlogmas, so I can also link that YouTube video in the show notes. It's from a few years ago, but you can kind of get the vibes of like what it was like to do tea there. And it was so much fun. It's such a special thing to do, especially if you are visiting with any of your family or your best friends and you guys like get together and get dressed up and go and you can take pictures in the lobby. It's so much fun. And it's basically located right off of Central Park. So you can also do like a little stroll through the park, or you can walk a few blocks west from there and go to the Columbus Circle Holiday Market. Great location for this time of year for sure. Okay, another one I wrote down. Andrew, if you're listening, this is like my dream date. I know I've never told you about it or mentioned this to you before, but I would absolutely love to go here. So, the Carlisle is this hotel on the Upper East Side, and they have a beautiful bar called Benelman's Bar. It has all of these like illustrations on the walls and everything, and apparently it's just like so cozy, and I think they have live music and everything, and it's just such a perfect like New York moment. So would highly suggest that, especially if you're staying anywhere around the Upper East Side on your visit. Another one is the Chelsea Hotel. It reopened a few years ago, and if you don't know, this is home to so many artists from the 60s who actually like lived and worked in the Chelsea Hotel. I mean, the list goes on and on. I just did a quick Google search to Google some of the Chelsea Hotel's notable guests and residents, some of which include Mark Twain, Dylan Thomas, Arthur Miller, Bob Dylan, Edie Sedgwick, Janis Joplin, Patti Smith, Robert Mapplethorpe, and plenty more. Chelsea Hotel is located in Chelsea. If you needed me to tell you that, there you go. And then the last one that I added to this list, I think is a bit of a wild card because I don't know really much about it, but the Waldorf Astoria just reopened in Midtown for the first time in years. Like that place has been under construction for as long as I can remember, but it has reopened now. So I would be super curious to go check out the vibes there and just like even see the place up close in person because I've heard about it for so long and it's exciting that it's finally reopened. I also wanted to write down all of the seasonal ice rinks that pop up in New York City this time of year. So there is Woolman Rink in Central Park. If you have ever found yourself thinking, you know what I would love to do in New York one day is recreate the scene from Roman Holiday where Blair is texting at the ice rink and her dad's boyfriend is there trying to like be nice and she's just being snotty and she ends up tripping him. If you've ever thought that to yourself, or if you've just thought it would be nice to go skating in Central Park, definitely go to Woolman Rink. It is beautiful this time of year. In the summer months, they've actually been turning it into pickleball courts, which is really fun. But definitely go skating there. Or another Gossip Girl reference, you could be Nate escorting Raina back through the park back to the Empire and then see the rink and then actually have her stop and ice skate to distract her while Chuck is doing something shady. Or you could be that nice man asking out Eleanor Waldorf. There's a lot of Gossip Girl recreations that can be done at Woolman Rink. Not to mention ice skating in Central Park, just absolutely beautiful. And for all of these, there will be skate rentals available. They're not always necessarily like the best quality skates, so I would just say wear like really thick socks and try to tie the laces as tightly as you possibly can. Also, if you can kind of time it to when the Zamboni comes out and smooths over the ice, I find that to be helpful, especially if you are someone who is not the most in control when you skate, because with the volume of people who come out and skate every year, the rinks can get a little bit rough and corroded. So if you're able to skate like right after the Zamboni goes, that will definitely make things nice and easy for you. Bryant Park Winter Village, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this earlier, but they also have an ice rink. Brookfield Place in the financial district also has an ice rink, and I feel like this one is typically less crowded than Central Park and Bryant Park because the Midtown locations are so central to so many other Christmassy things that they just tend to get a little bit more crowded. So Brookfield Place might be a good one to go to for fewer crowds. And there are also two in Brooklyn that I wanted to shout out to. So one is in Domino Park in South Williamsburg. I don't think I've ever been to Domino Park in the winter. To me, it's such like a summery place in my head. But I saw Court and Kelly on Instagram post that they were skating there the other night. So I definitely had to add it to this list. I must be a newer one that's popped up. And then the last one I have on my list is Roebling Rink, which is in Dumbo, right underneath the Brooklyn Bridge. That is a pretty iconic New York moment too. And when you're in Dumbo, you can go see Jane's Carousel. You can walk through the West Elm building and all of the stores there. You can get a pastry from Butler Bake Shop. That area of Brooklyn, I feel like, will be really cute also during the holiday season and hopefully a little less crowded than Midtown. By the way, Roebling Rink, if you were wondering what the name of that signifies, Roebling and Roebling were the architects of the Brooklyn Bridge, so that is what the rink is named for. And then, as far as other just like less crowded spots or places where you still might be able to go and take like cute New York City photos, just think in your head, like, are there any other cute coffee shops that I've had on my radar, any museums and things like that? Honestly, I feel like going to those places' Instagram accounts and just checking to see if they've posted, like, do they have any holiday drink specials? Did they put up any decorations? Are they having any pop ups or things like that? You know, even just following some of your favorite brands who are New York City based on Instagram or checking in on those hashtags, that could be a good way to find some other cute off the radar stuff. This is also really random. I don't know what the campus walk on policy is right now, like if anyone is allowed to just walk onto Columbia's campus, but they do a tree lighting every year, or they did when I was in school, of all the trees on College Walk. And that is also really beautiful to see. So if you are able to get up there and see that, I feel like they've gotten more strict with who's allowed on campus in the last few years. But that is really beautiful to see. And if you're up there, you could also pop into the Hungarian pastry shop, like I was talking about earlier, and grab a little hot chocolate. Also, all of the outer boroughs have botanical gardens and all of them have different holiday events. So if you're looking for just something not in Manhattan, something kid friendly, something else to do, the Queens Botanical Garden has a Winter Wonder event on December 7th. So that is coming up in the week after this episode comes out. The Brooklyn Botanical Garden does their Lightscape installation, and then the Bronx Botanical Garden has their annual holiday train show. That one is especially cute if you have kiddos and are looking for something to do. And if you guys have anything else to add to this list, please feel free to reach out or leave a comment with your recommendations. Again, Christmas here is always such a fun and magical time, even when it can be a little bit crowded, even when people can be a little bit stressed. There is a bit of that holiday magic that never really fades or goes away. And if you're still listening right now, if you've made it all the way up to this point, I would be so grateful if you could take 1 second to leave a 5-star review, either on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you are listening. It truly, truly, truly helps so much and can help the podcast reach more people and help my show grow. I am grateful for you listening. I'm grateful for you being here. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy start to the holiday season officially. And I will talk to you all in the next episode.